The cityscape shimmered like something from a dreamy Instagram post, all sleek glass and steel stretching toward the sky. It was the perfect backdrop for the rich and the trendy to sip overpriced lattes and snap selfies. Yvonne Carter, however, was neither rich nor trendy. Sitting cross legged on her worn out couch, she stared at her phone, swiping away notifications. 76 views, 4 likes, another flop. She rolled her eyes, slumping deeper into her seat. Her vlog had started with so much promise, back when journalism still had a pulse, back when stories about the city's changing landscape mattered to more than just niche audiences. But now, you had to go viral to even register on people's radar, and urban development blogs didn't exactly scream viral. At this point, she was lucky if her posts got more than a handful of likes. Her phone buzzed, snapping her out of her spiraling thoughts. A message from her bestie, Delilah, flashed on the screen. Saw your latest post, girl. Urban legends are hot. Do a spooky one. Yvonne frowned, her thumbs hovering over the keyboard. Urban legends? Seriously? That's what people were into these days? Cheap thrills and clickbait? Yvonne. Spooky? Come on, Dee. I'm a journalist, not some BuzzFeed writer. Almost immediately, her phone pinged again. Exactly, and look where that's gotten you. People want entertainment, girl. Give the people what they want. Yvonne grimaced at the bluntness, but Delilah wasn't wrong. She wasn't into gimmicks, but what else was there? Investigative pieces on gentrification and urban decay weren't exactly setting the internet on fire. As she glanced out of her window, her gaze landed on the sleek glass high rise across the street, the very place where her childhood home once stood, now bulldozed to make way for luxury living. Progress, they called it. Gentrification, she thought bitterly. Erasure. Her phone pinged again, pulling her back. You remember that Candyman thing, right? Freaked me out when we were kids. You should do it on camera. Bet no one's brave enough to try it now. Yvonne's heart skipped a beat. Candyman. She hadn't thought about that in years. The legend used to terrify her when she was little, her grandma telling her and Delilah the story as a warning not to be too curious about things best left alone. You're not serious. Dead serious. Say his name 5 times into a mirror. It's perfect. Everyone's doing it on TikTok, but no one's gone all in. You could own this. Think about it. Journalist takes on local legend. It's gold. Yvonne groaned out loud, tossing her phone onto the bed. She wasn't the kind of person who did stunts for clicks, but Delilah's words gnawed at her. Going viral was the only way anyone cared about you these days, and she was barely scraping by as it was. Just imagine the views. Yvonne Carter, journalist, skeptic, and Candyman challenger. Guaranteed boost. She stared at the message, her fingers twitching, torn between rolling her eyes and typing out a quick, hell no. But instead, her gaze drifted back to the high-rise outside her window. It was as if the sleek tower was mocking her, a monument to everything she had lost, her childhood, her neighborhood, and now, maybe even her career. She picked up her phone again, typing a reply before she could change her mind. Fine, I'll do it, but you're coming over to watch. A second later, Delilah's response popped up. Bet! Let's see if you're still the fearless Yvonne I remember. Yvonne shook her head, laughing under her breath. Fearless, huh? She used to think she was. But in this city, where history was bulldozed over every day and replaced with something shiny and sterile, what was there left to be afraid of? Famous last words, she thought to herself as she put down the phone, already planning her next live stream. Yvonne's heart skipped a beat. Candyman. Her grandma had scared her with that story as a kid, back when their block was still theirs. Say his name 5 times in front of a mirror, and he comes for you. She hadn't thought about it in years, but it could make good content. Yvonne set up her phone, hitting the live stream button. Hey guys, so there's this urban legend about a guy named Candyman. If you say his name 5 times in the mirror, he appears. She glanced at the chat blowing up. Anyone brave enough to try it with me? Do it. OMG, is this real? LOL, no way she's gonna do it. A nervous laugh slipped out as she stood in front of her bathroom mirror, her phone perched on the sink. All right, here goes. Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. Her voice wavered. She took a breath. Candyman, Candyman. The silence was almost too loud. She stood there, staring at her reflection, half expecting something, anything. The chat wasn't impressed. Lame. Fake AF. You got us hyped for nothing. Yvonne sighed, ending the stream. What a waste of time. She tossed her phone onto the bed, glaring at herself in the mirror. Was it just her, or did her reflection seem off? A gust of wind rattled the window. She jumped, heart racing. Calm down, girl, she muttered, shaking it off. She grabbed her phone, checked her social media, and paused. Her vlog had exploded overnight. 100K views, thousands of comments. People were obsessed. Her pulse quickened as Delilah's name popped up in her messages. You're trending! Hollow. She tried to shake it off, but she couldn't. She spent the rest of the day in a haze, refreshing her feed obsessively, watching her numbers climb. That night, the whispers started. At first, Yvonne thought she was dreaming. She lay there, half awake, listening to the soft scrape against her walls. Then, her name. Yvonne. She sat bolt upright, heart hammering. The room was dark and still. Was it the wind? She checked her phone. New message from Delilah. I'm outside. Open up! Yvonne scrambled out of bed, heart racing. She rushed to the door and flung it open. Empty. Weird. She checked her phone again. The message was gone. A notification glitch, maybe? But when she turned back toward her bathroom, her stomach dropped. There on the mirror was a wet handprint. Her phone slipped from her fingers. She hadn't been near the mirror since the stream. She stepped closer, breath shallow, her mind racing. Maybe it's a prank. Maybe Delilah was messing with her. But the longer she stared, the more she felt it. That creeping dread, her breath caught in her throat. Candyman. Her heart pounded so hard she thought it might explode. The lights flickered. Yvonne blinked, and for a moment thought she saw something. The next day, Yvonne couldn't focus. She kept hearing a voice whispering her name whenever she looked at a reflection. She couldn't escape it, and yet her followers kept growing. Her inbox was full of messages begging her to try the legend again. It didn't matter that she hadn't slept in days or that every reflection made her stomach twist with fear. Her name was trending. Please go and read and thumbs up my Kindle Vella series. The Whispering Alley is filled with spooky urban tales, and I add a new story weekly. Thanks for supporting small authors like myself.